Guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I am back and it is Tuesday, August 27th. I didn't do a video last night because I was a little bit under the weather, but I am planning on doing 2 videos tonight if the cats cooperate. I've already had an incident and I had to stop recording because Sander knocked the plant off and ran off with it. Yes, dirt all over the floor. It's just par for the course around here. Anyway, we are going to be looking at some Q-related news, and there is plenty of that. So let's get started. And before we go any farther, I just wanted to thank a few people that have donated since the last video. Julie B just became a Patreon. Yay! Vicky from Pennsylvania donated through coffee. Bean Woke Forever from East Tennessee. She has 6 cats and a husband. I bet I know which one's the hardest to take care of. Anyway, she donated through coffee. And Judith B is an anon, and she donated through coffee, as well as Fubar Bo. And he said, he put a little note with it. It says, "Greetings from a Scottish patriot, a seditious, rebellious Scot fighting for our freedom from the UK deep state." Awesome. I love that. See, I love knowing where people are from because, you know, I wouldn't think that there are people listening in Scotland, but apparently there are. So anyway, Fubar Bo, I'm glad to have you, and keep fighting. And also, someone sent me mail. I have no idea who it was, but I do know that they're from Canada because it had a Canadian bill in it and wrapped around paper. Yeah, have no idea who it was, but thank you. I know that they're from Canada, and I know by the postal code that they are from British Columbia. So, Kelowna, to be exact. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. It's what makes this possible because it allows me to take the time to be able to research this stuff. And Sammy is digging in the dirt, so excuse me for a moment. And all I had to do was point. So, yes, and I am aware, JT, who sent me the email about not squirting your cats, and actually I had read that before, and it's probably not a good idea because then the cat is afraid of you, and it doesn't work really because if you're not in the room with the spray bottle, then the cat does what it wants anyway. So I'm gonna have to find a different way. All right, let's get into the news then. And all right, we will just dig right in. Some of this is from today, some of it's from yesterday. Now, this should be a surprise to no one. Biden, once the clear favorite, plummets to 3rd place in national poll. Yeah, I think he's probably... Look at this expression. I mean, I don't. He looks like Pennywise, the clown. The like that's just creepy. It's funny, but it's creepy. Like I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. Anyway, once the clear favorite and leading contender for the Democratic Party presidential candidate nomination, former Vice President Joe Biden's seemingly never-ending gaffes have led him to falling to 3rd place in a national poll. Biden is now polling at 19% behind Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who are both at 20% in the Monmouth University poll. And I think it is for the Democrats, Elizabeth Warren is way out in front now. Of course, you know, really, if you have to choose between President Trump and Pocahontas, who are you going to choose? Well, I think I know where you guys stand on all this. Okay, we don't want to read more of that. Nah, who cares about Biden? All right, let's go back and let me see now. Let's get into this. Well, maybe. Come on. There we go. Stubborn. Feds in final stages of possible prosecution decision for McCabe. target on his back. Well, I hope so. I hope he does have a target on his back. He needs one. I know we're all getting fatigued with this whole thing because it's been going on for quite a while, and we're not seeing the people brought to justice that we want to see brought to justice. So I'm probably speaking for you as well when I say I'm fatigued with all this. I'm wanting to see some of these people pay for what they've done. Because if that was you or I, you can bet we'd be in prison by now. So anyway, let's see here. Federal prosecutors appear to be close to a decision on whether to charge former FBI official Andrew McCabe over the circumstances that led to his firing from the Bureau last year, Fox News has learned. A source close to the process said that McCabe has had a target on his back because of the Justice Department's Inspector General findings against him over actions during the Hillary Clinton email investigation, as well as his role in the surveillance warrants against Trump campaign associates during the Russia investigation. McCabe is a former deputy and acting director of the FBI. The New York Times, which first reported the developments Monday, said McCabe's lawyers recently met with the DOJ attorneys who would handle a prosecution, an indication of a possible indictment. McCabe's legal team and the Justice Department declined to comment. The U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. has not responded to a Fox News request for comment. The McCabe developments come just days after the CNN announced it had hired the former FBI official as a paid commentator, a move that has drawn criticism. President Trump tweeted last week that the hiring of McCabe was disgraceful. And I agree. I mean, I thought that Fox News had more sense than that, but apparently I was wrong. I really did. I held out some great hope for Fox News, actually, but I'm really beginning to wonder. Anyway, now where are we? Okay. Now, then Attorney General Jeff Sessions fired McCabe in March 2018 after the Justice Department Inspector General report found he had repeatedly misstated his involvement in a leak to the Wall Street Journal regarding an FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation. A source close to the process confirmed to Fox News that the Inspector General files on McCabe went to U.S. Attorney John Durham, who is probing the origins of the Russia case to investigate his actions. Earlier this month, McCabe sued the FBI and the Justice Department over his firing, arguing it was part of Trump's plan to rid the Bureau of leaders he perceived as disloyal to him. Yes, this is the, he's been a handful today. Anybody want a cat? He's really cute. I can't say that he behaves himself, but he's cute. All right. Yeah, the complaint contends that the two officials responsible for demoting and then firing McCabe, FBI Director Chris Wray and Sessions, created a pretext to force him out in accordance with the president's wishes. The stated reason for the firing was that McCabe had misled investigators over his involvement in a news media leak, but McCabe says the real reason was his refusal to pledge allegiance to a single man. McCabe has been singled out for attacks by the president since before he was elected, after news emerged in the fall of 2016 that McCabe's wife had accepted campaign contributions from a political action committee associated with former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe during an unsuccessful run for the state Senate there. McAuliffe is a close ally of Bill and Hillary Clinton, who was being investigated at the time for her use of personal email server while she was Secretary of State. McCabe has denied any wrongdoing. Well, naturally he would, right? You know, these people never tell the truth. They never say, "Oh, you got me." You know, why wouldn't it be nice just once if, you know, they were accused of something and someone went, "You got me. Yeah, I did it. I did." That's never going to happen. All right. He's denied any wrongdoing. and has said the Inspector General's conclusions relied on mischaracterizations and omissions, including of information favorable to McCabe. McCabe spent 21 years with the FBI. He became the acting director in May 2017 after the president fired former director James Comey. Well, there you go. Just because he's been with the FBI for 21 years doesn't mean anything, because we know that the deep state has been in control for at least that many years. Anyway, let's go on. You know why? Because we can, when we will. All right, now this is one of those things that's going to, I don't know how you'll react to this. I know I didn't react well to it. And it has nothing to do with Kelly Clarkson losing those darn 50 pounds. All right, Sanity. Down syndrome drag show kicked out of venue after public outrage. Well, I'm glad at least there was public outrage. It's about time. The LGBT agenda will have to find a new venue to exploit the disabled. A showing of a Down syndrome drag show has been kicked out of a venue in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yay for Grand Rapids, Michigan. Really? Thank you. It's about time that we showed some outrage over this stuff and not just let it go on. Anyway, following public outrage, the organizers still claim that drag syndrome will be, oh, that's awful. They called it drag syndrome. Will be performed somewhere else in the city on September 7th as part of the Project One contest by Art Prize. The organization holding the contest is not happy about the decision made by the owner of the venue. Art Prize released a statement saying the organization has always supported free artistic expression by all participants and has not denied or screened individuals. Consistent with this, we believe it would be inappropriate to limit the participation of performers who have Down syndrome. Okay. Drag syndrome is the latest manufactured craze pushed by the LGBT movement to exploit disabled individuals to promote their perverse sexual agenda. Yeah. Like, seriously. Well, let's play this. I hesitate to do so, but let's.
I'm never nervous when it comes to performing. My favourite part is the dancing and the lip syncing, but mostly the transformation really. I feel really confident to work with different people with disability and who wants to be drag.
My name is Daniel Weiss, and I'm the creative director of Drag Syndrome. Open a little bit. As far as I'm aware, we are the only drag troupe for drag artists with Down syndrome.
I think you're the worst bitch that ever.
The artists I work with are very open-minded, so I asked them, would you like to try to do drag? And they got so excited. They started researching drag, the history of drag, styles of drag.
Hello, darling.
And then they started to develop their own drag character.
She is called Madam X. She's a super spy and she's from the Secret Service.
My name is Justin Bond. Justin Bond is a big flirt, and as myself, I don't flirt that much with other guys because I'm a bit different than that.
The misconception we encounter to do with people with Down syndrome, that they have no mind of their own, that they are cute and sweet and that's it. That's completely untrue. Yes, they are very, very sweet and wonderful, but also they are very fierce.
Mr. DJ, please press that drag button.
I think people with Down syndrome have extra chromosome that brings them extra talent. They're hard-working people I've ever met. Very, very committed to themselves and their art and their career, which is super inspiring. It's a great opportunity for them to explore and show the world who they are, not what people expect.
Okay, I've had enough of that. I really have. And something that I noticed right away is that he said, I asked them if they wanted to do drag. Well, they didn't even know what it was. And then they researched it and whatever. Well, he probably helped them research it. And then they said, yeah, that would be fun. Well, I've worked with Down syndromes when I was doing social work in Canada. I worked with them, and there's something, they are the most loving and sweet human beings on the face of the earth. They really are. But you know, they really want to please people, and they are apt to do whatever brings them that attention and that positivity. And so I don't believe these people didn't just organically decide to, gee, I'd like to do drag. They were encouraged to do it because this man is exploiting them. That's my opinion. And I know it's a pretty strong opinion, but that's what it is. I don't believe I don't believe for 1 second these people, you know, said, gee, I would really like to do drag. And then this opportunity came along. No, this guy thought, gee, it would be nice to have some Down syndrome people doing drag. That would really draw an audience. He's exploiting them. I think it's terrible. The display was supposed to be held at Tanglefoot, a venue owned by Peter Mayer, whose family owns a popular grocery store chain in the Midwest, who is also one of the many Republican congressional contenders in Michigan's 3rd District, kicked the perverse display out of his venue. Good. Doesn't surprise me that he's Republican. As the true nature of Drag Syndrome's performance became clear, I consulted with various relevant communities to ensure my decision was made as free from personal bias as possible, Mayer wrote in his official statement about the decision. Excuse me. I spoke with parents of the differently abled people who had family members with Down syndrome and members of the LGBTQ and artist community. In nearly every conversation, concerns were raised about the potential exploitation of the vulnerable, he added. Well, that would be my concern. You know, if these are people that just organically decided, maybe they saw it on TV or whatever, and they said, hey, I want to do that. Well, you know what? They have the freedom to make their own choices just like anybody else. That's what I feel. I may not agree with those choices, but we should not force our choices on anyone else. But I don't believe that is the case here at all. Not at all. I believe that they are being encouraged to do this and receiving positive feedback in order to keep doing it. I cannot know, and neither can an audience, whether the individuals performing for Drag Syndrome are giving or are in a position to give their full and informed consent. To that end, I cannot allow Drag Syndrome to perform at Tanglefoot, Mayer concluded. However, one of Mayer's Republican opponents for the 3rd District congressional seat, veterans advocate Thomas Norton, believes that Mayer's venue never should have agreed to host the event in the first place. Now, I would agree with that as well. In fact, that you have to sit there and figure out what consultants are going to tell you is okay is disturbing. You have no moral compass, which is one of the first requirements that you need in Congress, Norton said in a Twitter post. It's not a deep reflection. You knew dang well what was going on there, and the fact that you're going to pretend you didn't is a lie, he added. DisArt, an organization that promotes disabled people in the arts, which is great. That's wonderful. Disabled people should be involved in the arts. They should be involved wherever they want to be involved, but not this. Anyway, I'd welcome your opinion on this as well. I would imagine that most of you would agree with my opinion because I think that it's probably what most conservatives would feel, but I don't know. Anyway, exclusion is discrimination, it is self-preservation, it is exploitation for political gain, it is not protection, DisArt wrote in a letter. We are deeply saddened, angered, and appalled at the decision to exclude Drag Syndrome from a venue they were given. DisArt vows to find a new venue to host Drag Syndrome, as sanity is not expected to last in Grand Rapids for long. No, it probably won't. So, anyway, I wanted to show you that. I figured that you would be as outraged as I am, but I'm glad that somebody is standing up and saying, okay, this isn't right. It's not right. You know, if if adults that are able to give their own permission, organically decide that, hey, this is what I want to do. Well, you know what? They're adults and they should be able to make their own decisions, whether or not I agree with them, because I want to be able to be free to make my own decisions. As long as they're not hurting anyone, it's fine. But when you start involving kids or disabled, then yeah, I got a big problem with that. I mean, I have a problem with it anyway, but adults are adults and they can make their own decisions. Anyway, okay. Now, this according to Charlie Kirk. In October, Elizabeth Warren proudly proclaimed, "No one, not even the President of the United States, will ever take away my Native American heritage." So why did she meekly delete any mention of her Native American heritage from her campaign website last week? Well, that's a good question. Why did she do that? We know why. Because she's not even this much Native American. She's the whitest woman in America, and she deleted it from her website so that doesn't reflect badly on her. Too late. I mean, she showed her gob all over the news and everything, and claiming she was Native American. I mean, does she think that taking it off her website will make a big difference? I don't think so. I think everybody knows. All right, now let's look at this. I've been meaning to bring this for several days, but now I don't know what to think about this. It says, did you hear about HR 838? It creates a behavioral police force. The text of the TAPS Act, Threat Assessment Prevention and Safety Act of 2019, gives unlimited and arbitrary authority to 24 bureaucrats. It is written in doublespeak with loopholes for the pencil pushers. Bottom line, it's a behavioral police force that self-empowers to deprive us of our constitutional rights if they don't like our behavior. It's bipartisan, too. Yeah. The bill doesn't mention guns. It is meant to control people, period. It's very Orwellian. This gives you an idea of where our politicians want to take us, some with the best of intentions. It is reminiscent of the Alien and Seditions Act of 1798. That act was ostensibly meant to control threats in a so-called war with France, but it was actually a means to control political speech. The president could deport anyone he deemed dangerous without affording the person any rights, and it made it legal to defame the government. It was a joke, and it made it illegal to defame the government. It was a joke, and it was abused immediately. The TAPS Act violates our constitutional rights. It gives the Department of Homeland Security the right to appoint 23 unelected pencil pushers to identify individuals who are exhibiting patterns of concerning behavior and to manage those Americans somehow, some way. They would become a policing body ruling the behavior of Americans as judge, jury, and executioner. The Joint Behavioral Threat Assessment and Management Task Force would consist of one government employee at a GS-15 level or higher and 23 selectees chosen by the politically appointed secretary. The police would not even get to elect any of these people. Their job would be to select those individuals who show concerning behaviors and create an authoritative power on the federal and local level to watch over them and control them. Who gets to define concerning behavior? That would be my concern. My concern is what is concerning behavior and who gets to decide what that is. And they don't need a criminal act to do this. Thought crimes will do. If the person is interested in committing a crime, that's enough. The DHS will then be empowered to implement these arbitrary rules with no acknowledgement of any of the rights of the people. It's a great way to usurp our rights, our entire Bill of Rights. The bill, in fact, makes no mention of our rights. They will have the power to invade our privacy and get whatever they want. to support their concerns without due process or privacy rights. It completely circumvents the Fourth Amendment. The act does not define the meaning of the word manage, but the task force has the power, once authorized, to take any action which the task force is authorized to take by this section. The measure, introduced in January and sent to the committee in March, allows the task force to develop its own guidelines and best practices to devise a national standard of action. Congress will have no authority over this band of authoritarians and relinquishes its responsibilities. The band's, excuse me for a moment. There we go. Sorry. The measure, introduced in January, sent to the committee in March, allows a task force to develop its own guidelines and best practices to devise a national standard of action. Congress will have no authority over this band of authoritarians and relinquishes its responsibilities. The band of bureaucrats will have to submit an annual report. There is no accountability per se. They just tell Congress how they are doing. It's a rogue government within a government that polices behavior. In case you're wondering who will get on the list, to start, check out the new definition of a domestic terrorist on this link. If you act as a canary in the coal mine, you could be labeled a conspiracy theorist, and that gets you on the list. The agencies have been politicized by the left, but no one is safe if we lose our constitutional rights. First, they will come for the right, then they will come for everyone. The red flags laws won't be much different. Excuse me. Xander? They won't stay out of the plants. They will not stay out of the plants. Xander? That's okay. I've got my Acme Cappy gone. Okay, first they will come for the right, then they will come for everyone. The red flag laws won't be much different. They take away due process. It's dangerous. Dana Loesch provided an example on Twitter. Red flag laws at work. Just last week, man had his firearms confiscated simply because he had the same name as a criminal. Had to bear the full legal cost a month later to defend himself in court. Well, that's lovely, isn't it? So, yeah, what do you think of this? I'd heard about this act, but now I don't know. Has this been passed? I don't know. I need to look into this further because let me just click on this, because I'd love to know if it's passed. It was introduced January 29th, 2019 by Representative Brian Babin. He's on the House Judiciary Committee, and it's been introduced, so I don't think it's been passed yet. Let's see here. Yeah, so, and here is the, I'm going to leave a link to this just so that you guys can peruse it on your own. It has not passed yet, but I hope it doesn't. This is really alarming. When other people get to define what is, certainly we all know what criminal behavior is, but when somebody gets to decide whether you're acting suspiciously or gets to define who is dangerous and who isn't, because the left would define us as dangerous. They would. So yeah, that's very concerning if you ask me. Now let's go back here. We got so much stuff today. Lots and lots of stuff. Okay, here, now this says it's very important, so I would imagine it is. Oh, yes. Okay, you have to listen to this. It's only 1 minute and 36 seconds, but, and this person, Alan Graves, says, please tell me this isn't just me that thinks this is madness. No, I think just about anybody that would listen to this, well, maybe not some on the left, but I think just about everyone on the right would think this is madness. Now, take a listen to this.
Guests, it's nice to have you here on our Strasbourg press conference, and I would like to say some words on the Global Compact on Migration. On the 10th and 11th of December, there will be an international congress in Marrakesh, Morocco, with regard to this Global Compact on Migration. And the participating countries are set to sign this agreement. And although this joint agreement isn't binding, it's still meant to be the legal framework on which the participating countries commit themselves to build new legislation. And one basic element of this new agreement is the extension of the definition of hate speech. The agreement wants to criminalize...
Okay, this is about migration, okay? And they're set to, I guess, the participating countries, and I know Canada's one, that have allowed migration and unbridled migration, let me add. They are set to sign this, and it extends the definition of hate speech, okay? So now listen.
Migration speech. Criticism of migration will become a criminal offense.
Criticism of migration will become a criminal offense. So if you criticize Muslims because of their behavior or what have you, or the fact that crime is rising, like it is in London, obviously, then that's a criminal offense. Criminal, mind you. Not a misdemeanor, it's criminal.
And media outlets, and that also concerns you, that give room to criticism of migration can be shut down.
Did you hear that? So media outlets that give room to that kind of criticism of migration can be shut down. So they're not allowed to speak the truth anymore. They're not allowed to speak out about the rising crime or the problems that come along with forced migration. They're not allowed anymore. Once this has been signed, and I guess all participating countries are set to sign it. So it will be hate speech. Wow. A criminal offense. And if you are in the media, or I would suppose even people like myself that are on YouTube or what have you, if they speak out against it, they'll be shut down. This is alarming, people. It's alarming. They are taking our freedoms from us inch by inch. And you know, we think, oh, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. Doesn't matter. But now we look back and we think, oh my gosh, look at how far we've fallen. It's unbelievable. Since 2001, it's been progressively getting worse. We've had more and more and more freedoms taken from us. And it's getting to the point where, you know, you're not even going to be able to give your opinion on something.
The compact for migration is legalization of mass migration.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Please let me know what you guys think of this. I'm pretty sure I know what you think of this, but let me know, because you know, this guy's not crazy, and I know I'm not crazy. So yeah, I think it's madness. I think that's an understatement. All right, let's go back now. And let's, oh yes, let's look at this. I'm not going to go too much longer. I want to get this uploaded and do a second video, but I want to get this uploaded early so that you guys will know that I'm doing a video tonight and that I'm doing another one. So let's go for a few more minutes and then I will get this uploaded. All right. God is a tourist attraction, carnival ride installed in historic English cathedral. Now, this was from August 25th, and it's a couple days old. Okay, we're not going to look at that. Clergy and children alike took turns sliding down a helter-skelter carnival ride that was constructed in the nave of the historic Norwich Cathedral for 11 days. Interesting, 11 days. We know their penchant for numbers, prompting denunciation from some as Anglican pews continue to empty. According to the cathedral, approximately 10,000 people visited to slide down the ride dubbed the Seeing It Differently Project. The very Reverend Jane Hedges was the first to take the plunge, after which she said, "Our hope is that it will bring a different audience into the cathedral." Yes, it will, the very Reverend Jane Hedges. Yes, it will bring a different audience into the cathedral. Is that what you want? You want people to come to slide down the slide, but not to worship God? All right. I guess whatever brings money into the church, isn't it? Very Reverend Jane Hedges. It's whatever brings that money in. I think it's disgusting. Reverend Canon Andy Bryant, who came up with the idea while visiting the Sistine Chapel, also maintained that the ride was intended to allow visitors the chance to better view the intricate details of the church's ceiling, which depicts key biblical scenes from creation to the apocalypse. Oh, so now we have to install carnival rides inside our churches so people can see the ceilings? Are you people crazy? Not you people. Those people. Yes, they are. They're stark raving mad. Unbelievable. Look, this is a mockery. The Bishop of Lynn, speaking from the helter-skelter during service at Norwich Cathedral, some considered the attraction to be an irreverent and frivolous display that did not belong in the sacred space that has stood for a millennium. Yeah, I'd be one of those. Yeah, that's my feeling too. For such a place, steeped in mystery and marvel, to buy into sensory pleasure and distraction is to poison the very medicine it offers to the human soul. The Queen's former chaplain, Right Reverend Dr. Gavin Ashenden, told the BBC, well, at least he's got some sense. Why do these people have to be the very Reverend, the Right Reverend? These are titles given by man to man. The Right Reverend Jonathan Mayrick, the Bishop of Lynn, delivered a sermon from the ride last Sunday after sliding halfway down and singing a Bee Gees song. Honestly, if I didn't know this was the truth and that this in fact happened, I would have a hard time believing this, really. He slid halfway down the ride singing a Bee Gees song. Okay, honestly, if I had viewed that, I would have been out the door. I would not want to hear anything that man had to say about God. Not that, you know what? God doesn't care if we go to a carnival and ride rides. No, he wants us to have fun, good, clean fun, not hurting anybody. Nothing wrong with riding rides and going to, wherever. I was going to say Disney World, but, I don't think very highly of Disney World. Anyway, but to do this in a church where you're supposed to be coming to worship God, no. Anyway, he sliding halfway down and singing a Bee Gees song. God is a tourist attraction, he expounded. A tourist attraction, really? The God of the universe, the most powerful being in the universe. He's a tourist attraction? Wow. God wants to be attractive to us, for us to enjoy ourselves, each other, and the world around us, and this glorious helter-skelter is about just that. Now, I agree. I don't know if God wants to be attractive to us. I think God is God, and I don't think he worries about, do I look fat in this? I really don't. And he does want us to enjoy ourselves to a point, but it's not about sensory pleasure anyway. Not that there's anything wrong with that in its proper place. I'm just saying. I think you guys know what I'm saying, really. I would hope that you do. British journalist Peter Hitchens told the Washington Examiner that the carnival display is merely a symptom of a tragedy that has already happened in the Church of England, set beside the abandonment of the 1662 prayer book and the authorized version of the Bible, and its collapse on the issue of lifelong marriage a helter-skelter is pretty trivial. Well, yeah. Portend the tragedy, I like this though, portend the tragedy has already happened, set beside the Sea of Ease abandonment of the 1662 prayer book and the authorized version of the Bible and its collapse on the issue of lifelong marriage, a helter-skelter is pretty trivial. Yeah. So what do you guys think? And then I'll just read the ending here. One of the least altered examples of Norman architecture, Norwich Cathedral's construction began a mere 30 years after the Norman conquest of 1066. The number of self-professed Christians in the United Kingdom had cratered by half in the past 35 years, while the population of Muslims and atheists has continued to rise. From 2012 to 2014 alone, the Church of England shed nearly 2 million adherents, prompting Lord Carey, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, to predict the institution is one generation away from extinction. And they think a carnival ride will bring the people back. Well, good luck with that. Really, you're going to need it. Okay. Now, I think we're going to end there for now. Oh, wait. I wanted to show you this. This is just, we'll end with this. This is a sign outside of a school, and I like this. Warning, staff members are armed and trained. Any attempt to harm children will be met with deadly force. Now, I would like it if all our schools had this sign. Not just the sign, because if you don't have the actual armed and trained staff members to back the sign up, then it's kind of worthless, because I think that, you know, you can't just warn. You've got to have some oomph behind the warning. So, but I think that would be a wonderful idea. I really do. And it bothers me, the fact that vets, U.S. vets, have offered for free to patrol schools. But nope, they don't want that. I don't know why. These people are trained, well trained, and they've defended our country. Why can't they defend our schools? They're offering to do it for free. I don't get it. Or maybe I do. Anyway, I hope you'll come back and join me, because I am going to be doing another video, and while this is uploading, actually, I am going to be recording the next one. So I hope to see you then. But for now, good night, stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth. Good night.